I think part of the problem with the whole issue is that AI is perhaps too general a term
Sure.
for all of the different technical innovations that come under that umbrella. But certainly, we'll once again see a transformative technology incorporated into our industry.
Mr. Nolan, this film is phenomenal. I'm sure you've heard that plenty of times. First question I have for you is Oppenheimer's story is rich with moral dilemma and ethical complexities. Can you talk about those complexities in your screenplay? And also during the Story of Our Time bonus feature, Cillian talks about how you wrote the script in first person. Why did you take that approach?
I've never really encountered a story about somebody whose life and whose experience was so fraught with paradox. Particularly the core issue about the need to build a bomb, the dangers of building the bomb. And I think it presented me with a unique opportunity to try and get into the head of a person who had to deal with the biggest questions of our time, as human beings on the planet. And what Cillian's referring to in that, writing the script in the first person is that, screenplays are normally written in the third person. Sure. So the stage directions read, he goes into the room, he sits down at the desk. And I found as I was trying to get into Oppenheimer's head and I was trying to communicate that to the reader, I wanted to get into the head more obviously. I wanted to be more subjective in the approach. So I wound up using the first person. And so I would write, I came into the room, I sit down at the desk. And just doing that, it just put me into his headspace more. And then I found, as I carried on with that and wrote the whole script that way, and then as I started showing it to my heads of department and we were working on the film, it just served as this useful reminder to everybody to always be thinking of this story in terms of Oppenheimer's own experience.
Well, now, I love bonus features in films because it really gives you an insight on how films are made. It's almost like going to film school. But during the Meet the Press panel, which is on the bonus features, you spoke about AI, talking about when you innovate technology, you have to maintain accountability. Can you talk, because you're one of the most cutting edge filmmakers there is, can you talk about how you see AI in filmmaking kind of converging and meeting together?
Well, I think that's all a bit too speculative at the moment. I think it's part of the problems. It's been part of the problems with the labor negotiations this summer is it's difficult to, look forward to the future. And I think to a degree, one of the interesting things about Oppenheimer's story as it applies to the nuclear threat was it wasn't that these brilliant minds couldn't foresee that there would be consequences. It's just that they had no choice, or they felt they had no choice. And so that makes it an interesting dilemma. I think as far as new technology of all kinds goes, AI being, an obvious example of something we're looking at right now, to a certain extent, it's very difficult to look at all of the possibilities and plan according to that. It's really a question of, to a certain extent, some of these things have to start to happen to know how to respond. But I'm an optimist, and certainly in the film business, there's a particular tension between people not wanting these technologies to exploit people, but also people want the freedom to be able to try to create with these tools. And I think part of the problem with the whole issue is that AI is perhaps too general a term for all of the different technical innovations that come under that umbrella. But certainly, we'll once again see a transformative technology incorporated into our industry.
I'm a huge fan of Cillian Murphy, and you've known him for 20 years. He is so good in this film. He disappears into the role. What did he bring to the page, or what did he bring to the role that wasn't necessarily on the page?
So much. It's hard to know where to start, really. When you write a script, particularly as a writer-director, you've done the best job you can as a writer in terms of trying to get across the layers and complexities of an individual's thought process. But you're also creating a dramatic construction that's bigger than the individual character. So what you're relying on is all of your collaborators, from your director of photography, Hoyte van Hoytema, my editor, Jen Lame, my composer, Ludwig Göransson, but then also the actors.
Sure.
Very much. You're looking at these people to come and bring an expert eye to the aspect of the film that they are solely responsible for. And what that means is you get incredible input from Cillian Murphy, having looked at the script, looked at the history, really thought deeply about the emotional truth of the journey of the character. And that's true for all of the characters we're portraying on screen. They all, every actor was able to come to the table with an opinion about this character. And when it's a story that I've written up, when it's characters that I've invented, I have to be the expert on that.
Sure.
But on this film, everybody could come with a deeper knowledge of the real history of the real person they're portraying and bring things to the table. So particularly in the Los Alamos scenes where we have a lot of different scientists interacting and everything, they were able to really improvise, to really sort of go off what was written in the screenplay and kind of stage some of these debates, some of these conversations around the implications of the history in a wider sense and really take it in different ways. And then we would incorporate the energy of that and the mood of that into the finished scene.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Mr. Nolan. This film is incredible. Wow. I mean, it's beautiful and terrifying all at the same time, but thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.